One of the worst things that we can do is make our people dependent on us. What we're going to talk about today is listening. How many of you know that the hardest part about coaching is listening? Any other high D's in the house? So there's 5 levels of listening. First is ignoring. Anybody been married as long as I have? I'm just saying, it's being real. Or how about this? You're pretending to listen. I remember years ago when I had 2 partners and we had challenges like many of you have had. And I was the guy who was always busy, not a lot of time to work with, and I thought multitasking worked. And so when we'd have our weekly meeting, I thought that was a good time because I was out of the office all the time to open my mail. So during our meeting with myself and my 2 partners, I'd be opening my mail and you got pile A and pile B. And we're 15, 20 minutes into the meeting, and one of my partners goes, "Would you stop?" And I said, "Stop what?" "Reading your mail during our meeting." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I mean, I didn't even realize I wasn't, engaged. Then there's selective listening. You hear what you want to hear, right? There's attentive listening where you're really paying attention. And then there's empathic, guess that's how you pronounce that, listening, where you really listen and try to understand. You're listening to people's heart. You're listening to their emotions. So what I want to focus on today, and really what this is about, it's not about teaching you anything. It's about bringing awareness and responsibility. That's what coaching is. And I have a secondary goal, and that is that you will develop your people to be good coaches. Attentive listening, listen with full eye contact. Listen to the words and phrases. This is so important. Like the words that people use have meaning to them. Use those words. And if you need to reframe those words, you need to redefine those words. You can say something like, "What I hear you saying is," listen for energy, emotions, and intent. In other words, how many of you know that it's not what people are saying, it's usually what's behind the words? What are they really feeling? What are they really, what's the fear behind the fear? What's the emotion behind the emotion? Even if they're excited, what are they excited about? And when you can connect emotionally with people, when you can connect emotionally, as Coaching for Performance says, coaching is emotional intelligence in practice. In other words, there's a very high level of awareness of how I'm feeling, how they're feeling. We're reading the room, we're reading the Zoom room, we're reading the room, we're reading that other person. And all of us need to get better at that. Mainly because we all have these human tendencies, being distracted or preoccupied. Are we prepared to go into this meeting and be fully in? Guess what? I have to turn my phone over and put it away from me. Because otherwise, if I see that text message come through, what am I thinking about? Or if someone is preoccupied, one of the things that I learned through this process is that the performance equation, right? So the idea is that we want to perform at a high level. We want our team to perform at the highest level because the higher the performance, the better the win, right? In other words, we all have to perform at a certain level, but the performance equation is potential perform or the performance equation is performance equals potential minus interference. How many of you have the tendency to fix the problem so we can move on? By a show of hands.
I did until I put the note up.
Uh-huh. Remind me what that note said?
It says, can you see it?
Oh, there it is. Don't solve problems. Amen and amen.
Yeah, that's on my keyboard. And I literally have to look at it because I am a problem solver. And when I don't solve the problems, my team gets really good at solving problems. And now I
Plus, they
don't need it.
learn.
Yeah.
Plus, they learn. One of the worst things that we can do is make our people dependent on us.